Hey Star, welcome to the Discussions podcast. And
Thank you.
Soleil.
Yes, thank you for having us. We'll see how this goes.
Well, Soleil is our VIP guest today, and apparently her middle name is Riot. So let's see if she lives up to her name during this
Right.
podcast. So for you listeners who don't know Star, welcome Starr Hawkins. You specialize in pre and postnatal fitness. And you have two kids. You're based in Miami, just like I am. You can be found at Mimi Yoga, Berries, and Gotham Gym, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I have admired you from afar. We have a lot of people in common, and I love the message that you portray on Instagram and in real life from when I've seen you at different events. And I wanted to have you on the podcast to amplify this message that life does not end after having a baby. In fact, you can discover a whole new chapter of yourself, albeit hard, but of strength. And I love that you have Soleil with you today. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I do want to say there's one other place I teach, which is One Tribe. That's new because that is where you can actually bring your kids, and it's a pregnant pre and postnatal workout. It's a new spot that opened in Miami. I want to say a little over a year ago, and you can actually bring your babies and work out. It's really cool. They have they have acupuncture there for pregnancy. They have like mom clubs where you can join like the mom group of your baby's age range, and they bring in nutritionists, and it's just a really nice space. They have chiropractors for the babies, all things baby and all things mom.
So, okay, I'm shell shocked because I had not heard of this, and I think this is amazing. What is the baby part of the workout? Or
Yeah, so I do a class with the carrier. So I'll do like the carrier. Like we have weights, we have leg weights, we have like bands, but obviously if the baby needs to be held, you can use the baby as the weight. And then we also have like they have chairs, so you can just put your baby in a chair there. People bring a lot of women bring their blankets and just put the baby on the blanket. It does get a little bit more difficult as they get more mobile, but it's a great class for like at least up to 9 months.
wow. So how much does Soleil weigh right now?
She's Last I checked, she was around like 20 pounds. So
That's some decent
yeah,
weight in a
yeah,
workout.
you gotta wait. You got your baby weight. It's good though. It's really good. You know what? It can hurt your lower back if the carrier's not tight enough, which I just found out. I was like, okay, my carrier's not tight enough, but um, yeah, you'll be sweating in the first 5 minutes.
I bet I can only imagine just having a weight of 20 pounds strapped on me, just moving with it. I love the whole concept and I love that you're bringing this to light and you're part of it. And so, I'd love to start with your story. Like, how did Baby Mama Fit begin and what drew you to focus on pregnancy specifically and postpartum fitness?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was baby mama star. I guess it goes back to like when Instagram started. So probably like 10 or 12 years ago. I don't know how long Instagram's been around, but I was baby mama star because I was the first one out of my friends to have a baby. So I have a 15-year-old. I had her when I was 21, and everyone would call me baby mama because it was like kind of like I want to say it was kind of like a term of endearment, but it was like a taboo term, right? So like a baby mama could be looked at in a negative way. But my friends would kind of say it like, hey, baby mama, as like kind of like a nickname, like something cute. And I really wanted to kind of empower that name because I was a single mother at the time. And I was in Miami. I was young in my 20s, the first one of out of all my friends who had had a baby. A lot of my friends were still partying. They were bartenders, shout out Wood Tavern and like all those spots in Wynwood. And I still, kind of had that party energy in me because when you're in your 20s, and you're single, that's kind of what's important to you. And I ended up meeting a guy and getting sober. And when I got sober, I really needed something for that extra inner, like the extra aggression or trauma, whatever it was that I was working through that was causing me to go out and to drink and just do things that weren't the best for me. Like self-sabotaging my life, I needed something for that extra energy. And when I found fitness, it was like game over. It would literally became my church. So I started teaching fitness classes. It was actually a long road for that too, because when I was in retail my whole like high school and mid 20s, and I started working at Barry's boot camp at the desk. I was one of their desk girls, and people would come to class and be like, you're just so friendly and you're so fun, and you should be a trainer. Like, why aren't you a trainer? Because I had the personality, but I literally had no background. So I had tried out several times, didn't get it. Finally got led to Pilates. I was teaching at the time it was called Jet Set. And they're still Jet Set and Trimble. They ended up splitting, but they were together at that time. And that really like ignited something in me. Once I found fitness and started helping people, I felt like I was helping myself almost. And then I turned into Baby Mama Fit. That's when the star dropped off the Instagram and went to Fit. But it was crazy. Like right before COVID, right before COVID, I want to say like 7 pregnant girls. And I just got really into training pregnant women. And, I was like, this is kind of what I want to do. Like, I really enjoyed empowering them. And then, after they would have the baby, they would text me and message me like, you made me so strong for the birth. I couldn't have done it without you. And like every pregnant woman at that time, I played more on the safe side even then with my training, because there was so much, that people said you couldn't do. There was more a conversation around what you can't do, right? Not what you can do. So I definitely played it safe back then. I had 7 pregnant girls at one time. COVID happened. They all got pregnant again, because clearly there was not much to do during COVID, but get divorced or have kids. So, I really turned into the name like Baby Mama Fit. I got known to really just train moms. And it was cool to like see this new run of pregnancy. The women would literally get their abs, and I would make a joke. I'm like, you just got your abs back. How are you pregnant again?
They got their abs back.
Yeah. Uh, and then, fast forward, like 8 years, 9 years. And I had Soleil. So now I have a 6-month-old and I have a 15-year-old. And really like the rebrand has been, working with pregnant moms. And now I'm focusing way more energy on, I think because obviously it's this time, like I have the baby, so it makes it, that much more enjoyable. But I really want to do as many workouts as I can that get moms to bring their babies and their kids.
How awesome, and what a cool message too, because I truly, truly believe that society as we know it now doesn't make it easy for women to really have a kid. And, on macro levels, micro levels, but that also includes women taking care of their bodies and putting in the time to really just become a healthier, stronger version of them in order to show up for their kids and also for themselves. And there's a lot of messages out there. If you look at social media, there's so much like, you can do this when you're pregnant, you cannot do that when you're pregnant, and it goes from obviously working out, but also what to eat, what to consume. And so, I'd love to really ask on behalf of women, like, is it safe to train while pregnant? And what do you wish women knew about training whilst being pregnant?
I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to just put that out there. Like, you always have to ask your doctor and your health professional before you start any sort of like when you get pregnant. Obviously, you need to ask. I think that the main thing is that every pregnancy is different, right? So if you're a high risk, if you're IVF, like those type of things, you might not want to work out just because of the situation you're in, that you need to protect what's happening, right? So I get those situations where women are told not to work out and they don't. Oh yeah, you're talking. But I mean, I think it's probably one of the best things you can do, just because I trained my entire pregnancy, and I mean, I did heated classes, and actually not supposed to do heated classes. I told my doctor and she looked at me and she was like, girl, no. And I mean, I'm not, what happens to me could be something different that happens to Becky or the next person. But I think that the main rule of thumb that I usually go by with my clients and what I'm seeing most people say now is whatever you were doing before, you can do while you're pregnant. So if you find out you're pregnant and you are like, oh, I want to go take up CrossFit, probably not a good time. Wait till after the baby. If you're like, I want to do heated classes, probably not a good time. I was doing heated classes 2 years before I got pregnant. So I think my body just like, you know, it could handle it, but that's not everyone's story. I think whatever you're doing now, like you were saying you do CrossFit, I think you could probably do CrossFit up until you have the baby. I thought that I was going to, you know, be like some crazy runner because I see women at Barry's boot camp that are pregnant, and I can shout out a couple that would run at like, you know, a 10
Wow.
and a 9 while pregnant. And I probably couldn't run without peeing myself after like 4 months. So I didn't run my entire pregnancy. I did a bunch of other things. I did like, you know, a ton of Pilates. I did a ton of like weights and strength training. But I couldn't run, you know? So I just think like the women now are just built so different, and every pregnancy is literally so different. I have some women who are afraid to do abs because they get told not to do abs. And then I have some women who love doing abs and do abs their entire pregnancy. So it's really what's up to you, you know?
Why would it be, and forgive my, lack of knowledge on this, but when it comes to women who, like you stated, for example, who went through IVF in order to get pregnant, why is it that they are not, doctors tend to tell them not to work out?
I think because there's so many risks in when they're first getting pregnant that can happen. And I mean, I think that like obviously after this conversation, if you could find someone who specializes in IVF, I think there's a big like conversation around that. Because I've heard horror stories where women have done it, were told that they couldn't have any movement, right? They couldn't practice yoga. They couldn't do their CrossFit. They couldn't do the stuff that they did before they were pregnant. And they were pumping themselves full of hormones and then not doing the one thing that helps them escape, you know? So I've heard stories where they didn't get pregnant and they were just a hot mess because they couldn't work out and they were hormonal. So I think until like more people, obviously, like who wants to be the test dummy, right? Like I volunteered myself to be the test dummy for hot workouts, but that could have went badly, right? So I think that, you know, especially when you invest that much money in something, you know, you might have to play it a little safer. I've heard so many stories that I feel bad because I think movement is medicine, you know? And I think you just have to find out what works for you. I have a girl that takes my one tribe who is a pole dancer, and she does like heels and sexy dance. And after class, she does an inversion every time after class. She literally gets into like a headstand, and she's probably at least 6 months now. And she said, yeah, I had to stop doing the dance class because I couldn't demo as good. So, I mean, she did it up to like 6 months.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is like listening to your body, and being aware of your limitations. I did do a lot of recovery. I did acupuncture. I saw the chiro. You know, I did a lot of stuff so I could keep my movement because that was like my biggest fear was getting bed rest or being told like you need to not move.
Yeah, yeah, when it's so ingrained in your routine and it becomes, for lack of a better word, your identity, it's very hard to stop that for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what are some common misconceptions about working out whilst pregnant?
I think that people think you can't do abs,
Hmm.
which obviously I think that you can do abs. You can do side planks. You could do bear planks. You could do dead bugs as long as you feel comfortable being on your back. Um, you could do, you know, other exercises that are like full body exercises that include abs. You can do side bends. So I think a lot of people think like, you know, no abs, but I think you almost want to do a little bit to strengthen your back because you are going to have that weight.
Hmm.
Um, I think that, you know, some women think, what's another one? I just think that they make us like fearful, you know, sometimes. And, you know, you're birthing a human and you're about to like do the biggest marathon of your life. So I think you're a lot stronger than you even know, you know?
Yeah.
And everyone's movement's different, you know, maybe like some people are more like needing to walk and then it's like a light yoga. Some people want to do Barry's boot camp. I have girls that come to Barry's and that's treadmill and weights, you know. I have girls that, you know, do Pilates and maybe it's a little bit more intense, but you know, I think you just have to find what works for you and talk to your doctor and do your research and then kind of figure out where you want to fit into that.
Yeah, I like the narrative that you stated, which is you're stronger than you know, but there's also another narrative about bouncing back, and it's
Oh,
quite
yeah.
loud. And I don't like using the word bouncing back, but it's what people use for postpartum and getting quote unquote your body back. But how do you help women rewrite that story after giving birth?
So I had my daughter at 21.
Hmm.
I do not remember the bounce back. I think the bounce back just happened. I think that when you're 21, you just drink Red Bull and, you know, you just get back. 37, and I think also we have a built-in forgetter. That's why people have multiple babies. For me, this pregnancy was amazing. I had the best time. I was going to DJ sets. I was going to space. I was like, I had the most energy. I felt so good. Um, I did gain a lot of weight in the beginning. I got like, you know, but I was able to work out the entire time up until I gave birth. But I will say the fourth trimester, that's what they call it, the postpartum trimester, that was hard. That is very hard. You know, like you're pretty much wearing a diaper, your stomach's swollen, you still look pregnant. I mean not to like call out my husband's family, but they're Filipino and the uncle was like, "Yeah, I'm talking about your uncle." The uncle was like, you got another baby in there or something, like said something real like not cute. There were moments when I definitely broke down, was crying, my hormones were all over the place. Um, I think at my peak of my postpartum, I went to a Barry's class at like 2 months or 2 weeks postpartum, and I tried to like work out. Thank God my vagina didn't fall out. I was like lifting weights in like basically wearing a diaper with like shorts over it, like you know. And that was my postpartum. Whereas some women, you know, they're crying, they can't get out of bed, you know. Whereas mine was like, I just need to leave the house. I need to be in a class, you know. So I think the fourth trimester is the hardest. And that's when you have the most pressure to get your snap back, you know, like you feel like your body is changing. And I mean, even breastfeeding is just so hard. Like I'm still breastfeeding and she's about to be 6 months and I'm training for the marathon. And I'm like, I'm going to have to stop and pump my boobs at some point during this marathon.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, yeah, the snapback is it. I felt a lot of pressure as a trainer
Hmm.
to get fit and get fit right away, and that's why I think that my following of moms has been so loving and like consistent. I've been getting more and more moms, and they've been so supportive of me. Is because I've been very transparent about what my snapback looks like, and you know, I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm just gonna just stick with it and do it. But the fourth trimester, oh my God, that was harder than the pregnancy for me.
I love how open you are about these things on Instagram. I think it brings a breath of fresh air in the entire narrative. And for me, and I always wonder, why is it that we don't celebrate women's bodies and mindset after they have a child? I mean, you just said it's like a marathon being pregnant. We celebrate people completing a marathon. I always thought of delivering a baby as maybe your 1 RM deadlift. You know, when you hit a
Yeah.
new 1 RM, people celebrate. And why is it that we're not celebrating women for what they look like after having done something so amazingly hard?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I,
It's sad. It's truly sad.
it, I'm a trainer, so I did get like, other than the couple of comments, obviously from, family members that thought it was funny to make jokes, but, women who get it, they get it. And they'll obviously tell you like, oh, you look so good or you're doing great. But, it is hard. It's just very hard because mentally you don't feel it, and physically you don't feel it. And at least like when you have I almost missed the belly because when I had the belly, it was like I had a reason to like, wear my jeans low and, you just kind of go through that stage of like, did she just drink a lot of beer? Like, is she overweight? Like, and then there's also so much pressure now around just like taking drugs. Like, why not just take Ozempic? Like, should I actually work this out? Should I stop breastfeeding and get Ozempic so I can be snap back quicker? I know like a lot of my clients who, have kind of, and myself included, have kind of struggled with, well, maybe I should just do Ozempic. And it's like, that's got to be kind of hard too, because, you know, breastfeeding is, not everyone can breastfeed. So I'm not pushing that type of narrative on anyone. Like, if you can't
Yeah.
breastfeed, don't breastfeed. But, you know, I'm like thinking about, should I breastfeed or should I get Ozempic?
But it's crazy that we're at this point in society, and then you have Serena Williams who just endorsed and invested in, I think, is it some kind of Ozempic? I'm not well versed
Yeah,
on.
it's a GL1P that she's. And listen, I love Serena. She could do no wrong. So, I mean, listen. You got to do whatever works for you.
Yeah,
And Ozempic has helped so many people. My mom struggled with weight her whole life,
yeah,
and so I know there are people out there who it's got to be nice to like not think about food or not think about a diet or being on a diet all the time, So, uh, and I struggle with addiction, so I know food can be an addiction. I can replace my addiction with food if I want to. I can binge eat. I can be kind of toxic when it comes to food as well. But yeah, it's like why not take the shortcut?
yeah. And
It's
Serena
there.
Williams, like the reason why I'm bringing her up is very much because she was open about why she started taking it. It was because she had a hard time losing the baby weight after having her
Yeah,
second kid, and so she wanted to do that for herself. And I mean, I think again, it's everyone's body. You do what you want with your body, but I just hope that that isn't linked to society's pressure of looking a certain way within a certain time after having a kid. That's all.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, I will tell you, the women I train, because we are in Miami, they are built different, and they will start working out. That's part of the reason why I thought, 2 weeks later I could go to a gym, because some of my clients waste no time. They get right back. Maybe not 2 weeks, but like a month, And I think I will say I think it's because of a pressure that we have here in Miami that we want to look good, you know. You want to get back into your clothes, and you want people to tell you, oh my god, you just had a baby, like, at all costs, you want to just get back. And I can say, from this being my second child, this is probably, I've enjoyed this so much more because I feel like I've pressed like the pause button and I've tried to enjoy every second of it because I know it goes by so fast. And when I was younger, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind all the time. When you're younger, you're just worried about such other things that like you don't always get to take in all these like little moments.
Yeah, it's true. And you brought up Miami. Miami's very much its own little bubble. When you come out of Miami, you realize like, oh wow, Miami people are just, they really invest a lot of time in how they look.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that maybe it's more of a pressure cooker in Miami. And it always makes me wonder, like women who have no time, no sleep, what do you tell them in order, if they come to you and say, hey, I'd like to quote unquote bounce back, snap back. What do you tell them when they don't even have enough sleep, or enough time to maybe invest in all of that journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always kept my workouts very much affordable. That's why I think I'm baby mama fit. I do a workout. It's $1 a day, $30 a month on my online, and I offer free YouTube workouts. But I mean, I think that if you're a new mom, trying to get maybe 20 minutes in while the baby's sleeping. Or obviously, if you have to sleep when the baby sleeps, sleep. I'm not a person that can sleep during the day. If the sun's out, I'm awake. I'm not like a napper. So, you know, obviously, if you're not sleeping and you can get a 20 minutes in, 20 minutes is better than nothing. I mean, there's a woman, I don't know if you know her, Melissa Wood Health. She's like the big fitness. She does a lot of online. And
Mm,
a lot of her workouts are 10 and 20 minutes. And they're also for moms. And, I think that a lot of women don't have an hour, they don't have 45 minutes.
yeah.
But 20 minutes can get your mindset to the point that you're going to start making more time throughout your day. You're going to carve time and you're going to make, your fitness and your health more of a priority. Because I think, like with me, even with this pregnancy, I always have non negotiables. And for me, movement is kind of a non negotiable. It keeps me sober, it keeps me happy, it keeps me a better version of myself for my baby and for my husband and for my other daughter. Because if not, I'm going to be a bad, like, they're not going to want to be around me. It's like when I don't eat. Like you get hangry. Like you don't want to be around me if I haven't eaten. You don't want to talk. You don't ask me a question if I hadn't had coffee.
Yeah.
Like you should know better. You know what I mean? So that's what fitness is for me. So I carve out a time. I have to. You know. So I think that like finding something free online, because obviously money is can be a thing. And then time. Just don't feel like you have to overcommit to an hour 5 days a week. Start with 20. And walking is like the most underrated thing. I mean, that's like the one thing that they tell you to do. Walk with the baby, walk with the baby, walk with the baby. I didn't want to walk with the baby because it's hot in Miami. I was like so over stroller walks. I'm like, it is 90 degrees. I don't want to walk. But, you know, um, if that's something that you do for your movement, you get your steps in, get your steps in. Listen to a podcast, you know, like watch a show while you're walking. I don't know, like just get your steps in
Yeah.
and make it happen.
It's interesting because I know I've trained a few people and I've come to realize that being a trainer is also being a psychologist. And I guess you're seeing women during pregnancy and actually even probably before, maybe some of them are going through a fertility journey that's not necessarily the easiest. Then some of them are pregnant, and then you have your fourth trimester. What kind of mental states do you get from a lot of women? Are they mostly calm and positive, or are they really trying to search for themselves because they've lost themselves?
I mean, I will say for the most part, like I trained all kinds of women, even, people who are, I just learned this word, so I'm going to throw it out there. Perimenopausal and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
menopausal, I'm getting at that age. So I train all kinds of women too. I've trained people's kids that are in high school, and like you could tell that they don't really talk to their mom, but will talk to me. I do train mostly women. So it has been mostly women. And I think that, like for the most part, people feel good when they work out. They might not want to do it when they start, but after and during, I see like, good attitudes. I don't know if it's my energy or what. Um, and then, I meet people where they are. So we all have bad days. There's days that I go crying and then I still have to go train someone and transmit energy and light and love. So, um, I go and do that. I think the main thing that happens though when you have the little babies is, if you're training at home and I'm coming to your house, it can be hard. It can be hard because, maybe you don't trust the nanny, or maybe like you don't not that you don't trust the nanny, but like a lot of women don't want to leave their baby. they have mom guilt,
Mm.
which I can't speak about. I don't get that.
You're like, see
I don't,
ya.
I don't know her. I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini and I'm always the main character. I don't know if I'm just like, that's like my selfishness in me, but I don't feel like mom guilt. Like I want people to help me. I've always, that's why I think my daughter, has been so good is because she's, people have always loved her and loved taking care of her. Obviously, I don't just leave her with anyone, but, I think in the beginning it's hard because moms experience mom guilt and they get, yeah, are you talking? They
Mhm.
get nervous or, yeah, they just don't want to leave their baby.
Yeah. I guess you just tell them bring your baby with you.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more the baby gets used to it.
Mm.
So like Gigi with me, it's a funny story. I was working at Barry's working the desk and she was 3 and I would bring her with an iPad sometimes and take class and I would sit her in the front and I mean you're not supposed to do that, but I would tell the desk like if you need me, get me out of class. And there were several times where she like wrote on the desk with like Sharpie and like, I'm like, oh sorry, that's my kid. Um but fast forward, now she works at Barry's and she makes the smoothies there.
No way.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I never had an issue. I had friends who would have their kids and they'd be like, hey, I can't work out today because I have the baby. And I'd be like, well, just bring them and sit them at the desk. And they're like, no, they won't do that. And I get it. Like some parents aren't okay with that. That's fine. But I think the more practice your kid has with seeing you work out and knowing that that's a part of your routine, they'll either want to do it with you. I've had clients whose kids have come out and been like, it's time for yoga. And they bring their mat and they want to sit next to mom and do it. And that's actually beautiful. They might only do 10 minutes and then they're like, screw this and go back inside. They're like, it's too hot and I want to color, but it becomes like a part of their routine. And then it's not a surprise. It's not a tantrum. It's not an argument because it's built in them. Mommy does yoga. Mommy works out. This is what mommy does.
To be frank, I'm just thinking back to my childhood with my mom. I would just sit while she did whatever she had to do. She wasn't working out, times have changed very much. And now it's very, very normal for people to work out on the daily. But back then I would just sit and watch her shop or watch her, have to work and
Yeah.
things like that. And it's also making me think of, I don't know if you and I have the same algorithm on Instagram, but there's this post that keeps coming up on my Instagram about this parliament woman in some country who from birth took her kid to parliament. So she has her kid in her arms and is voting on laws,
Yeah. I
legislation.
saw that.
And then
I
this
love
kid
it.
ends up voting too as she gets older. It's the cutest thing, and I just love the message of just
But
how,
I feel like she probably learned, like, hey, when people are talking, I don't talk. When
yeah,
people stop talking, I can talk. Because it just becomes like whatever you expose your kid to is what they're going to be, what's going to be their norm.
mm,
That's why when you go to different cultures, there's different norms. So I just think that, you know, working out, whether it's you're working out and they're next to you in tummy time, or, I have a girlfriend who gets on my lives and she does her workout in the playpen. Like there's a pin set up and her kid just crawls around and gets in the way and grabs the phone, but she keeps doing it. She doesn't care, like 20 minutes is better than nothing. Showing
exactly.
up, catching a vibe, being around other women. I think at the end of the day, it's like, it's all about community, like we all are searching for community. And when you're around other women or around other moms or just around other people outside of being a mom, it like helps you to cope with having to be a mom and having to think about everyone else all the time. And, it's just a nice release, a nice outlet.
Yeah, and I feel like gyms can actually be quote unquote playtime for kids. Obviously, there's some things like machines and equipment and weights that you would want your kid to not, have their hands on, but there's something in my CrossFit gym that I've seen throughout the years is whenever people bring their babies, if you look at the babies, I don't know if it has to do with like the monkey in us, but you give them a ring or a rig, they actually hang on. They
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
just like grab. And they
Yeah, it's
actually
like our
have,
survival.
yeah, and they have so much strength in their arms. They can actually hang. I've
Don't
seen
tell my
videos.
husband that because he's gonna
Oh,
have her on bars at like a year. I already know
why
because he
not?
does the calisthenics. He loves it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We'll keep
he
that
does
separate.
calisthenics. So I mean, his daughter, he has we both have daughters from previous relationships, and his daughter was doing like handstands at like 2. You know,
Wow.
it's wild. It's wild what they can do.
It really is. And I think what is wild is what women can do. So I guess, like in the last few closing questions, I'd love to know what's one thing every woman should know about her body, whether it's, pregnant, postpartum, or neither. What is it that they should know about their body?
Um, that's a really good question. I mean, I'm trying to think what I know about my body that
Mhm.
has helped me. Um, yes, I know. Are you going to help me? I mean, we create life. I think that there's a reason why women create life and men don't, you know? We are definitely stronger than we know. And yeah, I think that we're very powerful. Even if you like your story's different and you can't have kids or whatever that you might be going through, I think that, if you're a woman, we're very, very strong. We can multitask. We can we can do so much. So just knowing that strength is in you, knowing that your body really is beautiful too, like all shapes and sizes. Like, I mean, just think about like all the different beautiful bodies that we are, like no one booty looks the same, no one set of boobs look the same. We're all just individually beautiful. So I think just remembering the beauty in all of us
Yeah.
and remembering how strong we are.
I love that you're saying that because Soleil is listening. Obviously, at this age, she's not necessarily computing, but I strongly believe in word. Um,
Yeah.
there's research actually around providing those words to kids as they grow up too. So the fact that Soleil
Right.
is listening in on this conversation, I think, is really, really cool.
Yeah, she knows. She's talking back too. She's talking to us right now. I
Obviously,
don't know if you can
Soleil
hear.
is. I need to speak French for Soleil. She has a French name, Petite Soleil. So I've got a bonus lightning round for you. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
3 questions. So one thing to stop saying to new moms.
That they can't work out.
Okay. New moms, so like postpartum,
Oh,
right?
sorry. One thing to say to, sorry, 1 second. My husband just got home, so my dogs are going crazy. Let me,
Real life.
yeah, let me just open the door. I'll let them out really quick. That
Yeah.
way we can finish our lightning round.
I'm gonna leave this in. I'm not editing this out because this is real life.
I know, right?
Juggling a
All
bunch of
day.
different things.
Always, always. Okay, so yeah, I would definitely say stop telling them that they can't work out. Stop telling them to sleep when the baby sleeps because that's not everyone's story.
Yep.
um, what else I'm trying to think of everything everyone said to me that I was just so overhearing.
You ever tell someone stop saying these things to me?
I did a couple posts about it and I was surprised at how many people, and then I started seeing it in my algorithm. So then I knew like, okay, I'm not the only one that feels this way,
Yeah.
like, oh, give yourself grace. I love that one in the beginning. Everyone says, give yourself grace. It's like, girl, I don't need grace. I need you to come to my house and do the dishes for me. That's what I need. So I would definitely stop telling women to give themselves grace because I'm over
Okay,
that.
got it. Okay, and I'll never say that to you, I promise.
Yeah. No, but people say it and they mean the best. I'm
Oh,
obviously it's a joke, but trust me, when you get pregnant, you're going to hear that word and you're going to cringe after you hear it. You're going to be like, "Oh my God, Star told me."
All right, second question. Song that always gets you hyped.
Um, oh my goodness. I love Pass the Dutchie, Missy Elliott.
Oh, yes. We're the same
Yeah,
age,
I
actually,
love,
you and I, so we listened to the same things growing up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Anything that we grew up with, you know? Um, I love like any Diplo,
Not
any
nice.
2 Chains, and like,
Hmm.
you know, Big Sean mixes. Like, I like all the old stuff. I like Drake when he's not crying. So definitely a Missy Elliott moment. I've been really riding that hard lately.
Nice. I kind of feel like you probably don't need a song to get you hyped. You're just
Yeah,
like,
now I'm
I'm
pretty
gonna
hyped.
hype myself up.
Yeah, yeah. I literally wake up with fuel or
Yeah.
coffee.
All
Say hi,
right,
Soleil.
last question. One woman inspiring you right now.
One woman inspiring me right now would have to be, let me see, I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm around so many strong women in my circle. A lot of like badass entrepreneur business women. Oh, you're so excited.
Soleil.
Um, I literally, I even inspire my own self sometimes. I'm like, I'm doing this, you know? Um, but let me think. Trying to think. You know what? I'm gonna just say it. Cardi B, because
Oh
she's pregnant
my,
and
yeah.
she just launched her tour and she's gonna work her entire pregnancy just like I did. So you know what? Shout out Cardi. That's my girl. She inspires me.
Impressive. It's impressive. You know who's inspiring me right now? And it's a person we have in common, you and I. It's
Who?
Mimi from Mimi Yoga.
Yes. That's what I was thinking about when I said badass women. Her, Mimi, and she's actually shout out Mimi because she's about to have a baby.
Yeah.
Um, and she'd be a great one maybe to share her journey even. I know she's talked a little bit about IVF. And I wasn't referring to her about the non-movement stuff, but she could probably share her journey. I've heard it from other women as well. So, but yes, Mimi, I mean, Robin, who does her PR. I train a woman, Nancy Karp. She's like Kobe Karp and all the architecture in Miami. Um, I'm friends with a girl named Annabelle who does Taja candles. I'm surrounded by, yes, Jules gives back. She's constantly doing stuff for children who are, yes, you were so happy. She's constantly giving back to um, uh, children in foster care. And I'm definitely surrounded by a lot of strong women and they constantly inspire me. So it's
Yeah.
really
I
nice.
mean, Mimi has been so open on Instagram about her IVF journey. Like, no F's given. You know, there's even a video of her. She's taking a video of herself, and she's like, "Come get pregnant with me, along with 5 other people in the room." I mean, like,
Right. Like, I mean, come on.
yeah.
And she's still doing it, right? But
And she's still
that's true
doing it.
life. And imagine they tell you not to work out. And I don't want to speak for her. Definitely hit her up because she would be a great one. But I know she did take some time off of work, so you
Yeah,
know, she would be a great one to talk about like her mental and how it helped her or didn't help her. You know,
very much so.
she's
And so,
very strong.
where can listeners find you, Star?
My Instagram is Baby Mama Fit, BabyMommafit. I'm at Barry's. I'm at Mimi Yoga. We're doing Pilates teacher trainings. I'm about to finish my September one. We booked out October. We just launched February. Gotham for the booty box workouts. And if you have a baby and you want to bring your baby to the workout, come to One Tribe. But yes, just message me on Instagram and I'll send you everything because I'm everywhere. I do free pool Pilates. I try to do a lot of free stuff for the community. Um, my Gemini doesn't allow me to just sit in one spot, so I'm everywhere.
I love it. And what's your YouTube channel?
Baby Mama Fit as well. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Star. Thank you, Soleil, for this wonderful
Say
conversation.
thank you. Say
Merci.
thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Oui,
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
thank you for being your authentic self with us.
Thank you so much.